Okay guys, welcome to the next part of this series of Fragments Revisited. Today we're going to implement the creation of the second activity. So in order to do that, we add an else statement here. So if it's not a dual pane, we're going to create an intent. And I believe it's this. Oh, what's the context for this now? Yes, we have to pass in the class, so it's element details activity. I'll just copy and paste this here. Dot class. Okay, so that's our intent ready. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get the intent dot put extra, and we can pass in whatever value we need to. So the name or the key for this time. So it's a similar system to the bundle. I believe you can actually pass bundles into this as well. In fact, that's what we will do. We'll pass the bundle in, okay? Okay, dot. What did I just write there? I actually cannot remember what I wrote. That's pretty funny just there a second ago. Put extra, that's what it is. Yeah, so we can actually add a bundle into it if we need to. So we're just going to type this bundle. And this will actually make things a little easier down the road. And then the bundle itself will be element. So as we did before, we set arguments for the fragment. We're actually putting the bundle into the intent, and then we're going to start activity. And intent. Okay, so we're going to start our activity now. Before we do anything else, we haven't called this activity yet. We have to add it to the manifest. So we're just going to go down here, add activity, browse. Just give it a second to find it. Elements detail activity. Okay, save that. Check the manifest or check the actual XML. Yep, elements detail activity is in there. You have to add it to the manifest, remember. So that elements detail activity is going to receive a bundle, okay? So what we're going to do here is we set our content view. So down here we're actually going to say intent or this dot get intent. So this is the intent that started the activity, okay? So we're going to say intent starter. I'll just say intent intended. I'm lazy. Now we could just say get intent, but I like having this dot get intent because it implements our, what's the word I'm looking for now? It implies that you're going to get the intent from this. Okay, so I've got that. So then bundle element equals intent dot get bundle extra, and the bundle extra is, of course, I believe it's just called bundle. So just check the main activity. Yeah, bundle. So we've got our bundle. Now what do? We need to get our frame layout. So if we go to our element details activity, we've got a frame layout here. We're going to assign an ID and we're going to call this info frame as well. Actually call it element details frame just to be clear. Now we're actually going to copy some code out. So in the main activity we're going to copy this fragment thing here, okay? And we're going to do that there. So we're just going to get rid of this here. So all we did was we did the same thing again, but this time in this activity we've created our element details fragment. Yeah, we've created that. Job done well. And we've got our fragment ready, and then we're just adding it. We're doing the same thing again, setting the bundle that we got here. So essentially all we did up here was we bundled up the information, and then depending on what we did, we either added a new fragment, or in this case we added it to an intent and fired off an activity, and then we're going to get that bundle out of the intent, put it into the fragment, and then load it up. So if we run this, we should get a very nice little thing here. So once the Nexus 7 loads up, so if we click this, and as you can see, it brought up a new activity. So if you press back, okay, so that's for portrait mode. Ah, I know what's happened there now. You're probably wondering why I have to click back twice. Well, this add to backstack, we need to get rid of that, because the activity loaded and then it added the fragment, and that adding of the fragment was put on top of the backstack where the back button is. So now if we press Ctrl F11, it'll load up our new view. I'm going to click on phosphorus, and you can see it loads there. So, and if we click on sodium and then scandium, see? So that's how it works. So now we've got it working correctly. Very easy to implement this, and I've shown you how to do it. Now the source code for this will be online, but we have to make one more change. I'm going to show you a little bit of a problem. Suppose we added up magnesium, okay, which is fair enough. Then we rotate. The person has to click on magnesium again. When a user would predict that they've clicked on it, shouldn't it load up in the new screen on its own? That's a peculiar one there now. How do we stop that? And if we go into magnesium in portrait mode, okay, and we Ctrl F11, it's on its own. So what we want to do is we want to save the instance state. Now this is a little bit confusing, but the first thing we're going to do is this activity will never be seen in a landscape mode with it. It should never be seen. The element details activity should never be seen in landscape mode ever. Because why would it? Why would elements detail activity be in landscape? It's only ever, or in a portrait mode, sorry. It would only ever be in, oh no, it's normally in portrait and never be in landscape. So what we can do is we can actually, in the onCreate, and we set our view, we can actually implement a little thing here. So if, now I'm actually going to go to the documents again. I know I'm a bad person, but I'm trying to find here, there's something here I need to find. Is under building a flexible UI? Bollocks. Okay, so clicked on the wrong thing. So what's happened here is I need to look up something. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I have the code for checking if it's in landscape mode, and it's this. So we're just going to actually just make this this. So I have to import configuration, and we'll just, okay, so what we've done here is this test, get resources, get configuration.orientation value, and then configuration. Now if it's in landscape mode, we want to change that to orientation landscape. So if it's in landscape mode, so if we were in portrait mode and it's changed and it's in landscape mode, we need to get rid of this. So we just say finish. And finish just ends the activity there and then, and pops back. So if we hit run, it should work now. And we need to actually rotate the emulator. Oh, bugger. I think I just done something funny with the rotation there and installing. Is that main activity? Oh my god, I put that in main activity. What am I doing? It's elements detail activity. That's where it should be. What am I doing? I may rerun this. I managed to make a tit of that anyway. Okay, so we're in portrait mode. Click on magnesium. New activity comes up. Rotate the device. Goes back to the start. Perfect. But we still have a peculiarity here because main activity isn't memorizing what's happening. Is it? It's not really. Like, magnesium should have appeared there because I clicked it. Why did it get wiped out? Well, we can actually change this here in main activity, okay? See this click position here? It's a little bit hard to implement this. We'll go over this in the next video, but we're going to implement saving instance state, and we're going to save which fragment was added, and then if that fragment is true, we'll re-add that to the layout, if you get what I mean. I'll show you how to do that in the next video. We're going to show you a little trick. It's not the ideal way of doing it, okay? We really should store the position, but I have a much cleaner way of doing it. And it also is very useful. It's a good way of passing fragments. So anyway guys, see you in the next video where we work on restoring instance state.